This is a method I use to drag 2D objects across the screen. This also works for 3D objects, but only in a 2D scene. So make sure you have your camera set to orthographic. Okay, first we need to give our camera a physics 2D raycaster to be able to register if we clicked on an object. For 3D objects, it would be a normal physics raycaster. And either way, we also need an event system, if we don't already have one. Then we need the object we want to drag, for example this sprite, and give it a collider, or else our raycaster won't recognize our sprite when clicking on it. And let's set a script where we are going to handle the dragging. Let's call it, for example, Draggable. And in our script, we need to add that we want to use the event system. Now, to make our sprite draggable, we need to add the IPointerDownHandler interface and the IDragHandler interface. And with these two interfaces, we need to implement two functions, the OnPointerDown and OnDrag function. As the name suggests, OnPointerDown gets called when we click on our object or touch it on a mobile device, and OnDrag when we drag our mouse or our finger. Now, in OnPointerDown, we need to calculate the distance vector between our mouse and our object's center point. So when we are dragging our object, we can keep the same distance between them. So let's create a vector2 variable called distance, and in our OnPointerDown function we say that the distance is the event data position, which is the position where our mouse clicked or our finger touched the screen, minus the transform position of our object. But we're not done yet. As I said, this here is the position on the screen, but this here is the world position of the object. So to measure the distance between them, we need to transform our event data position into the world position. This is done by using the screen to world point function of our camera. And with that, we have the distance in world coordinates. Okay, now in OnDrag, we want to drag our object. To do that, we get our current pointer position during the drag, which is again our event data position, and transform it into world coordinates. Now, the new object position is our pointer position minus the distance, to keep the same distance like when we clicked on our object. And all we need to do now is to set our object position with our new position, and we're done. But just one thing, since we set a vector 3 with a vector 2, we lose the z position, which for 2D objects is not such of a big problem, since we use the layer order to determine in what order our sprites are rendered. But if you don't want to lose our z value, then all you need to do is to just save it before setting the new position and creating a new vector 3 with the new position and the old z value. And with that, we can click and drag an object. Nice! Hey, thank you for watching this tutorial. If you'd like to watch more tutorials, then I can recommend you my tutorial playlist here. But if you want to watch something else, then why not check out how I survived my first 48-hour game jam here. Alright, subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future, and I hope to see you all again in my next video. So until then, ciao.